What's up, students? I know for some of you, that's the first time you've been called that. It's crazy, right? And I know this is already a crazy weekend. I mean, it's been, a few months since any of us have been in church? And now some of you are in this brand new space, and there's all these new people, and this seems way different than what you were used to. It's okay. Don't freak out. Let me just point out a couple of important things and people that you need to know. Hopefully you've already heard from or met your campus's student pastor. I can assure you they are awesome. Definitely someone you want to know. But there are some other people in the room even more important than them. They're probably sitting somewhere near you right now. They're a bit older than you, and they're, the coolest person you've ever talked to. It's your coach. Guys, I am not exaggerating. We have the best coaches in the world here. That guy or girl sitting with you is one of the finest human beings on the planet, and they're here to get to know you. Every week that you're here, we're gonna make sure you spend some time as a group with your coach, talking about what's going on, having fun together, and just building a group that supports each other. Finally, we're going to challenge you while you're here. Obviously, we're gonna have a ton of fun. We're gonna get real goofy sometimes, we'll be wild, we'll jump around during worship, all that good stuff. But we also believe that students aren't the church of tomorrow. You are the church right now. Our mission is to turn you into Christ-centered difference makers, students who love God with everything they have and change the world around them. We believe you can do amazing things, and so we're gonna challenge you to do just that. Because here's the deal, you're not kids anymore. I mean, you can't drive or vote. A lot of you haven't even convinced your parents to get you a phone yet, and that's okay. All of that stuff is going to come with time. But when it comes to your faith, you definitely aren't kids. For some of you in here, this whole church or Jesus thing has kind of been about your parents. I mean, you might enjoy coming here and you have friends you like hanging out with and all that's good. But when it comes to what you believe or how Jesus affects your daily life, it's not even something that really crosses your mind. Maybe up until now, you've been borrowing your parents' faith. And guys, that's okay. All right, I've been there. I was exactly there when I was in junior high. I grew up going to church every single weekend. We prayed before meals. I knew all the Bible stories. I was even baptized when I was 8 years old. But by junior high, it was just a part of my schedule. Church was just one more thing on the list, no different to me than basketball practice. I hadn't really deep down chosen to follow Jesus with everything because I wasn't really ready for it yet. But junior high marked a turning point for me to begin owning my faith. Now, that was actually a long, pretty tough process that lasted me well into high school before I finally got it. But I distinctly remember starting to wrestle through some of these really tough faith questions, starting to try living out what I thought I believed back in junior high. Now is the time for you to start figuring out if this is just your parents' thing or if you're going to dig in and follow Jesus because you have made that choice. There's actually a great verse in the Bible that I still come back to all the time when I need to refocus on who exactly I'm living my life for. It's way back in the Old Testament, and it's at this really important moment in the history of God's chosen people, the Israelites. They had been in this constant cycle of following God, then getting distracted by all these fake gods the people around them were worshiping, and then outright ignoring God. And then when their lives got all messed up, they'd turn back to God. And their leader Joshua challenges them, just straight up. He says, "If serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve." Basically, he reminds them that God never forces himself on anybody. If you don't want to live for him, that's your choice. But then, with all the grit and manliness that this veteran soldier could muster, he said this, "But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." It's a who's coming with me, like draw a line in the sand kind of moment. And I get so fired up when I read that. And what happens after this bold declaration from Israel's leader? All the people rally around him. They turn back to God. They get rid of the little statues and the rituals they were messing around with to try and, fit in with the world around them. They each choose for themselves that they are going to live for the one true God. And it all started with one man who made up his mind and publicly chose to give his life to God. And students, this still happens today. One man, one woman, one student who gets fired up for Jesus, One student who sets aside their reputation, popularity, the position on the team, what he or she wants for their own comfort. Just one person who boldly decides for themselves that they are going to follow Jesus with everything they've got. You better believe the world around them will be changed. That is what a Christ-centered difference maker is. That is what we're inviting you to be a part of. We're not going to force you to believe anything. We're not going to make sure your life is all cleaned up and perfect before you're welcome here. No, everyone is always welcome, no matter where you're at in your journey with Jesus. So show up, bring your doubts, ask your questions, open up about your messes. We're all imperfect people simply trying to follow Jesus the best way we know how. But we, your coaches, your pastors, those of us on screens, we are going to continue to challenge you. We're going to draw a line in the sand and say, we will serve the Lord. Who's coming with me? And we hope and pray that as you spend time around here, as you encounter other Jesus followers and learn more about Him, as you read His Word and experience what it's like to worship and serve Him, that you'll eventually come to a place where it doesn't matter what your parents believe, or what the kids at school will think, or what it might change about your daily life. You will choose to follow Jesus with everything you've got. Students, your home, your neighborhood, your school, this city, and this world need Christ-centered difference makers. And I challenge you to become one starting today.